Hey folks, I'm Feroz, a front-end development manager here at Shopify. We also have Rebecca's awesome crash course on how to develop an app at Unite. I wanted to provide a deeper dive and take you through the full end-to-end developer experience. To do this, we're going to be creating an app from scratch. The app we're going to be creating will edit multiple products in bulk. So we're going to utilize the GraphQL API. After we build the app, I'm going to pass it over to Mike, who's going to show you how easy we've made it to set up and manage webhooks. You're probably pretty curious as to why we'd make an app that edits products all in bulk. Well, think of plus-size merchants with large inventories. Editing multiple products at one go would save them a tremendous amount of time. On top of that, imagine a merchant setting up their store for a flash sale. They want to put the words flash sale in the title and say something like limited edition products in the description. Cool. Now that you know what we're building, let's dive into it. First things first, you're going to need a partner account in order to build an app. If you don't have one, you can go to partners.shopify.com and follow the sign-up steps. I already have an account, so I'm going to just sign in. So I'm going to go ahead and create a development store. We're going to need a development store because our app is going to make changes to product data. Building our app directly into a development store will make it easier for us to work with real data. And there you have it. My development store is ready. Now let's get into some code. Alright, so the next thing we're going to need to do is install the Shopify CLI. We're going to use a package manager called Homebrew. If you're not familiar with Homebrew, you can go to the Homebrew website and follow the steps to install it there. To install the Shopify CLI, I'm simply going to run brew install shopify-cli. Once the Shopify CLI is installed, I can start running Shopify commands. The first thing I'm going to do is scaffold my app. I'm going to do this by running Shopify create node. It's going to ask me a few questions, and one of those questions will be what store do I want to install my app on? And I'm going to pick the one we just created a few seconds ago. I'm going to create a Node app because I'm a JavaScript dev, but you can create a Rails app if you prefer. Note that I'm running version 1.13 of the Shopify CLI. In the new Shopify CLI 2.0, the command structure is a little different. Instead, you would run Shopify node create or Shopify Rails create. Alright, now that my app is set up, let's see it. Let's try and get it running in a dev store. I'm going to run Shopify serve. So in order to securely run my app running locally in a development store, I need to set up a tunnel, and thankfully the Shopify CLI does this for me automatically. Now I can just simply navigate to the tunnel link, and I am able to install my app on my development store. And boom, we're ready to go. Let's start writing some code. So the Node version of the scaffolded Shopify app is actually built on top of the Next.js framework. So you can always reference the Next.js docs if you ever run into a snag or if you want to make your app more awesome. It's important to note that there are a few things that are implied by the Next.js framework, specifically the pages folder, if you haven't already guessed, is where all my web pages live. Next.js will use the file names in that pages folder to infer the app's routing. Another really handy piece of this scaffolded app is that it actually takes care of a lot of the tedious things like auth. So I don't have to waste my time. I can just focus on building my app. It's pretty great. Okay, let's add some UI. All right, we're going to be creating a simple form using mostly Polaris components. Let's set it up so that it's not just returning a component. We're also going to set up some hooks for our component state management. I know I'm going to be creating 2 input fields, and I'll need somewhere to store the products that I save. We'll also be creating using a component called the resource picker, which I'll get to in a second. And we'll also use a toast component to show the user some feedback on a successful update of the products. All right, cool. Let's add a few components, structural components like a card. We'll add our inputs, or we'll add a stack so we can lay it out properly. And then we're going to add some text fields. Cool. The first one will be to append text to the title of all the selected products. The second one will be to append text to the description of all the selected products. And then we'll create a simple submit button. But actually, we're going to change this. Let's go back to that resource picker that I was talking about earlier. This is a super handy component from the AppBridge React library. And what it allows me to do is select resources from the store. Resources being things like products, orders, customers. And it's pretty simple to implement. I will just assign the resource type, add a couple more properties like on select, and the open parameter, which is the state I set up earlier. And let's log our resources and set them to our state. And let's test to see if this works, shall we? All right, let's go. Okay, let's open the console. Oh, right. Can't really select any products if I don't have any products. All right, I'm just gonna head back to the CLI actually. And here's a super handy command to mock out resources in a development store. It's called the populate command. All I have to do is run Shopify populate products and bam, 5 products added to my dev store. Pretty sweet. Now let's retry the resource picker. Now that we actually have resources or products in our store. There, now I have my products. All right, now let's keep going. Next, I want to actually display some of the data to the user because I don't expect people to be using the console to see their selected products. So let's add another card section, and we'll add a data table that will just render the selected products that we have. We'll also add an empty state just to show that there hasn't been any products selected yet. All right, and then we'll map our product data. And in the table, I'll have the ID, I'll render the ID of the product, the old title, the new title, the old description, and the new description. All right, let's keep going. Let's map all these relevant pieces of data from the actual product object. All right. We'll add some optimizations here and add a use memo hook around the product data. Great, now it's working. And I can see all my data right in there, and it updates the data table as I make updates to my UI. This is great. We're making some significant progress. Let's keep going. Let's add a submit button. But I do want to have that submit button disabled if there are no products selected, so that we're just not making blank GraphQL mutations. All right, let's create a submit handler. And we'll also add a toast notification that we created the state for earlier. This will show up whenever the user has successfully updated their products, their selected products. Let's test this out just by assigning it to the submit button. Show toast. We'll go back and select some products and click submit, and there's our notification. Great. This is great. The UI for our app is pretty much done. All we need to hook up is GraphQL. We're going to use the product update mutation in order to actually manipulate the product data. I'm going to set up a product update mutation file in our project. I'm going to use the Apollo Boost library to set this up. Okay. And since the new Shopify dev docs have added so many helpful examples, I can simply check the reference guide for pre-built code that fits my needs and copy and paste it. It's pretty simple. Great, this is exactly what I'm looking for. All I need to do is add the title property, so I'm going to copy paste it over here, add the title property, and now we've got a mutation set up, we just have to use it. Alright, let's go back to our index file and import the product update mutation that we just created. And we're also going to need the use mutation hook from React Apollo, the React Apollo library. Alright, let's implement the use mutation hook, get our update product function, and the rest of the changes we're going to make is in the submit handler. We're going to incrementally update each product that had been selected. There's obvious UX improvements you can make, like a progress meter and stuff like that. However, this is just for the sake of demo, so we're going to one by one update these products, and on the last product, we are going to throw that toast up that we created earlier, and that should be it. Let's see if this works. We're going to add the flash sale, going back to our use case, we're going to add the flash sale text to the title, and all sales are final, no returns to the description. Let's select some products and submit. That was good. That was good. Let's see if it actually made the changes in the products. Hey, there's our changes. And let's click into it to see the description, and that's our description. Perfect. This is amazing. Think about how much time this could save you or your merchant partners, and it only took me about 10 minutes to walk you through it. Awesome. That's it from me. Thank you so much for joining us. Before I hand it over to Mike, let's hop into the Discord and answer some of your questions. And don't forget to visit shopify.dev to learn more about anything we covered today. Hit like, hit subscribe. No, I'm just kidding.